if that wasn't. Our next guest shocked the world when he dropped out of the race for the presidency and threw his support to President Trump, or candidate Trump at the time. Christie did that, former Republican governor of New Jersey, author of the new book, Let Me Finish, and he's with us in the studio right now. Governor, what a pleasure. Great to have you with us.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Okay, now you shocked everybody.
Yeah, yes, I did.
And you know you did. So, fast forward to the present. What's your assessment of President Trump and his presidency? How's he doing?
Listen, I think I'd give him a B so far. And I'd say tax reform, big triumph. Regulatory reform, big relief for business. The courts, 99 new judges on the circuit court with 2 Supreme Court justices, and the new trade deal with Canada and Mexico. I think all very good, substantial achievements that are helping the country. Now, on the downside, as I say in the book, you know, there have been times where I think he's really made some very poor personnel selections. Okay. And those poor personnel selections have hurt him. Michael Flynn as the National Security Advisor is one example. That was a train wreck you could see coming from a mile away. Okay. And I tried to warn the president of that, and he just went ahead with it anyway. And the guy was a disaster. And it hurt the president, sent him back, and really catapulted this whole Russia investigation even more.
What about his style? The presidential style, the tweets, the insults. What's your judgment on that?
Listen, that's who he is. And what I think is most important in politics is to be authentic, to be who you are. And it's not like, you know, Stuart, it's not like anybody is shocked about this. That's how he campaigned. That's who he was during the campaign. I will tell you that the tweets that bother me are the ones about the investigation. Because what I've said to the president over and over again as a former U.S. attorney is, you know, there's no way you can make this investigation shorter, but there's lots of ways you can make it longer. And by tweaking the prosecutors all the time, by giving them new, fresh material to chase, you're making this longer than it needs to be.
Have you told him this?
Directly about 24 times.
And his
response? He is completely wrong. And I say, well, Mr. President, I not only investigated lots of people, I was investigated myself once. I know how this works. But it's one of those things where he's got a blind spot on it, Stuart.
He is who he is.
And he is who he is. And so the style is what we voted for. Okay. And he is not going to change. And so we have to put up with the good and the bad that comes with that. Now, and there's both.
They're talking in Washington. They've got this 17-member panel trying to get some kind of deal to keep the government running 3 weeks from now. I see 3 possible outcomes. They get a deal, the government stays running, they get a deal. Or there's a government shutdown, or the president declares a national emergency. Which way do you think it'll be?
I'd say there's only 2 possibilities, a deal or the president using executive authority. I don't believe they'll shut down the government again. I think there was so much psychic damage that was done during this shutdown with the air traffic controllers, with the TSA workers. I went through a lot of airports during that time, as I'm sure you did. And TSA workers recognized me and said to me, Governor, how can the president expect us to work for no pay? We can't live. I can't pay my bills. And so I don't think the president wants to go through that again. So I think he's either going to declare an emergency or they're going to come to a deal.
But if he declares an emergency, would he win politically or lose politically?
Well, it depends on whether he wins or loses in the courts, because that's going directly to the courts. And I think it's a jump ball. I think it could go either way. So he's taking a big risk if he does it. But if he feels that the Congress will leave him with no alternative, I think that's what he'll have to do.